Welcome to the Surviving Marriage Podcast with Rufus and Jenny, marriage educators, best-selling authors, and relationship disruptors, giving you marriage education from decades of marriage experience. Here's Rufus and Jenny triplets.
We'll be man and wine. You gonna harmonize? We gonna harmonize?
if we could harmonize.
Welcome.
I need somebody that can do harmony first.
Stop it. What?
I'm just telling the truth.
Oh, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to all of our global listeners around the world. Welcome to another episode of Surviving Marriage Podcast, Season 5. And we are back. We are back from our 35th anniversary celebration in Turkey and Egypt. Oh my God, we had a time.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, we had a time, and we cannot wait to share that with you guys. But we're going to be doing that in an upcoming episode. Stay tuned for an episode 35 things we've learned in 35 years of marriage. Yeah.
Wait, you thought I was going to say something?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something.
Partner. I'm going to leave you with that one.
35 years straight. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be awesome and we can't wait to share. Okay. Because I know I only look 35, right? I only look 35.
I hope I look my age.
I'm ready for my close-up.
You need to quit trying to look young because these people going to think I'm one of them other people.
Stop it.
Is that what they be thinking?
They didn't know how old I was in Egypt.
Who did?
They didn't.
Girl.
That lady said I was 25. No more than 30.
Look,
that's what she said.
You know what them people thought?
That's what she said.
I was like, just because y'all used to see a little gray in my beard, that means I'm a statutory.
Okay, let's move on.
Well, they were trying to say something with
today.
Call it what it is.
We gonna get right into it. I need y'all to like, subscribe, follow, whatever y'all like to do out there in regards to the podcast. And we're gonna get into our couple because we running on some time here. You might need a filter.
Hold up. We ain't running on no barrel time.
You might need a filter.
I'm on my time.
You might need a filter today, bro. Trust.
No, I don't need
Trust and believe.
Who need a filter?
You.
If you do filters, then you don't do the truth.
Woo. Okay.
It's called truth.
Okay. We have a highly anticipated.
Allah told me to speak the truth.
Highly anticipated interview today with a couple that is 25 years in the marriage game. Okay, so that's some
25 years.
They got some foundation.
25 years.
25 years.
Oh, they gonna make it.
25 years.
Oh, they there.
Okay. And they've been voices of the people. I've been following Dr. Ray for quite some time. I followed her through her PhD, journey.
What people is they the voice of?
Some stuff, she had
is it
to
the
say
go down Moses
about advocating for women, and all that good type of stuff. And, and now they're Muslim.
Is it the help me?
They're Muslim.
What that I don't know what people they doing voiceovers for.
They're Muslim. Can I bring them on? Can I introduce? Can
I
was going to say, can I introduce?
I want to talk to my boy anyway.
Okay. All right. Shaun and Dr. Ray King. They really need no introduction, guys. Okay.
Well, can you introduce them anyway?
So I'm just going to say, Shaun and Dr. Ray. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Salam, good to see you both. And I don't know if y'all can hear us laughing or see us smiling, but you both have us cracking up. So we're glad.
Oh man, she do that to people, man. She
goodness, that's him.
She be tripping. She do that to people.
That's him. Okay. All right. So we're going to cut to the quick. Because like I already told people, we like to respect people's time. And we're bringing on our guests a little bit earlier today, guys, because,
your boy got something to do.
Responsibilities.
Okay? Tell him what it is. Your boy got something to do.
Responsibilities. So how long have you guys been married and how did y'all meet?
Well, you want to start?
We've been married for 23 years now. And
we've been together for 29 years, which is...
no,
28. We met in 1996.
Okay.
Yeah, but then we were not Muslims, but we met in church all the way back in Kentucky. But we got married 5 years after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So we met as teenagers in church. I was serving in church. I think I was like one of those kids that was like always in church and loved it. So I did like I was like the Sunday school secretary, and I sang in the choir, and I was doing a play, and he was newly saved because he had been a heathen for most of his life. And so
No, I know.
yeah.
Did she just call that man a heathen?
Yes, she
Yeah,
did.
Yeah, I heard that too. I'm just let that slide, man.
You know you were a heathen.
Woo,
I know.
I think we need to duck back out of here.
I know all about that, Dr. Ray, because I grew up in the church too. You
Yeah,
know,
she was a
Baptist.
heathen too.
Yeah. Excuse me. She
You
said
wasn't a heathen?
him. She said
I
him.
know you was a heathen. I
Oh.
know you back then.
Oh my God!
I knew you
No,
back
you
then.
didn't nude me. You didn't know
Oh,
me
you was-
either.
you-
So you
oh, you
definitely
was.
didn't. Okay. All right. So y'all let's just say y'all go way back young, the same as we did. We met when we were 16. So we go way back. Y'all go way back. So that story, and just for the single people who out there looking and watching and listening and all of that good type of stuff, you meet people where you have history. That's where you are. You guys are going into these blind spaces. No, but a lot of times you meet people where you have history. Okay. All right. Some people may have heard your conversion story because it's really, really popular. So for the two people who haven't, two people that's been under a rock, give us a little bit, tell us a little bit about your story briefly. And I'm going to throw this to Shaun because I have my own, question and how we're going to go into this with you, Dr. Ray. Okay. And how you came to embrace Islam.
Yeah, I'm always honored to answer this. I mean, I think like a lot of American Muslims, my story in a lot of ways starts with Malcolm X. And I have to go all the way back to even before I met Ray, when I read the autobiography of Malcolm X. And me and several of my friends, we were smart enough to know that if we wanted to be like Brother Malcolm, there was no way we could be more like him than to be a Muslim. But this was all the way back in 1994 and 95. Before Google, we didn't even have a computer in our house. And so we struggled to even find a local mosque to go to. But it was really in the mid 90s that I, first kind of developed a soft spot in my heart for Islam. And when I first visited a mosque for Jumu'ah prayer, and it took almost 30 years after that for me to find my way all the way back here. And it's not a decision I ever thought that I would make. I fully and earnestly thought that I would be a Christian my whole life, even though I had a deep respect for Islam and was always known as somebody who did advocacy for Muslims, that worked against Islamophobia. This past year really changed me in a lot of ways and just caused me to reevaluate what I believe and why I believe it, to really evaluate my faith as a Christian. And it was really all the way back almost a year ago where I started having conversations with my closest Muslim friends and imams and scholars and others, just asking them questions about what it would mean for me to become a Muslim. And over those next 5 months, Ray and we talked about it. I've said this publicly. I never thought that Ray would become a Muslim, and I don't mean that as an insult. I just
no problem, because that's how I'm gonna. That's definitely what I want to address with her.
Hey, partner, you probably like me. I didn't care because the knowledge that Allah had gave me, I knew what I was going to do. I just let her know, and I just kept it moving.
Well, the best. I wasn't. That's not me. I was worried because I was 45 years old, and I was really worried that it would
break y'all up,
drive a wedge in our marriage, and so my actions ended up being very similar to yours. The best advice I got, I didn't know if it was going to work at the time, but people, they told me, they just said, Shaun, don't try to convince her to become and they said, just trust that Allah will guide her heart, and don't, they told me they said, Shaun, there's a greater chance that you will mess it up than you will get it right. So just leave it alone. And So that became my prayer and my hope. And Ray, who's, a smart, brilliant thinking woman, kind of went down her own path that was different than my path. And, her story is different than mine. I just want to tell people we always know that people don't know us when they say she became a Muslim because of me, or I made her a Muslim. It's like, oh, you've never met her before. She would not become a Muslim because of me. And
a lot of people are going to have a lot to say about a lot of things. So that's why you just constantly keep putting it out and telling your story.
And I'm glad
and even when they
gave
hear
him that advice
and know that your story is out there, they're still going to make it up. It's still going to be made up. So I do want to address it with her story. And I saw a video, Dr. Ray, where Shaun had said, you told him you would never become a Muslim. You would never, ever become Muslim. So how did you overcome that to now wanting to even change your name?
Yeah. So, I think the easiest thing to say is that Allah draws who he wills, and that's the only way I can explain it, is that I did end up feeling drawn to it in a way that made it really undeniable. Like Shaun said, we've been in community with Muslims for years. Some of my dearest friends have been Muslim. But it was never something that I considered for myself because, like we were sharing earlier, I grew up in the church, loved the church, had drifted away from it later on in life, but was still considered myself a Christian and would still, wake everybody up in the house to go to church once every few months or so. But for me, it was both deeply spiritual, because Allah really revealed himself to me in ways that were just undeniable through the Quran. And it was intellectual because once God first initially pricked my heart, I wanted to know more. I take a very academic approach to a lot of things in my life. And I went to Barnes and Noble and I looked for books on Islam, and I started to read, and I really started to try and also understand.
That's a terrible place for books on Islam, by the way.
It is. It was like a shelf. It was like one shelf. And I was really upset because the Christian section at Barnes and Noble is huge.
But you didn't know about Islamic bookstores,
No, I had no idea. No, I just, I live in the suburbs, so I went to Barnes and Noble, and when I know what I'm looking for, I'll go to Amazon and order it. But when you're not sure exactly what you're looking for,
you're researching.
Be there and touch and all of that. And I found a book called The Islamic Jesus. And I think the subtitle was something like How the Savior of Christians Became the Prophet of Muslims, something to that effect, because that was the biggest hang up for me.
And for most Christians.
Yeah, for most Christians. It was like, wait a minute, though. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is God. I came out the womb basically being taught that. And so I didn't really see myself being able to make that shift. And I literally had the thought for a minute. I was like, maybe I'll be a Muslim, but secretly still believe that Jesus is the Son of God. Like I had that whole thing going for a little bit.
These are the things that
go through your mind that
who become Muslims have to wrestle with, because and what Ray and I have learned, the easiest way for us to illustrate it is for us to ask Muslims, could you imagine if tomorrow you became a Christian? Could you imagine all the things your brain and your heart and your soul would have to go through? It's not a snap of a finger. It's
right. I had this spiritual encounter with God. I had several actually that made Islam real for me. Still, I needed the intellectual part of myself to catch up to that and to answer some real questions that I had. And I found that the more that I read, the more that I talked to other Muslims, the more comfortable I became and sure I became that this was the path for me.
So let me ask you, as someone who grew up in the church, Like I said, several similarities and everything here. Um, were you okay with like the church? Because I mean, I had a lot of questions. I
Mm,
had, the older I got, the more pushback I had in
mm.
She
regards
going up to the
to
preacher and asking the preacher questions.
the church.
Don't be questioning that man.
And it was some things that just contradicted itself. And it was just some things, because I grew up around a church family,
Yeah.
We went to
and
church on Wednesday
Yeah,
afternoon, Thursday morning.
and it's just some things that didn't jive, that they couldn't jive, like they were they were just going along. You know what I'm saying? But when I met his family at 16, I was 16 years old, and
Bendigo.
and they're Muslim. I actually met them and one summer they were going through Ramadan,
Mm.
and I had
You better not tell that
questions.
Story.
Questions in
Girl.
I'm trying to get to their
Thank
story.
you. Thank
But
you.
questions in regards to that really started, you know what I'm saying? That really started jiving and just becoming more so like, okay, that makes sense.
Sister Jenny, what we found is, to be a Christian, but particularly to be an American Christian, you are expected to live with a lot of contradictions. And you are expected to live not just in tension, but you are sometimes expected to not use your brain
And not question.
Yeah, to not have, not even difficult questions, even basic questions. And what most Christians don't know, and what I didn't know, even as a lifelong friend of Muslims, like I lived in Muslim and Islamic spaces most of my adult life, in and out of events and communities, and still I didn't know what I was about to tell you. Islam is very much about clarity and finality and answers,
Simplicity.
and yes,
Simplicity.
and it's not easy, but it is. You're not supposed to just be stumped and confused as a Muslim, but to be a Christian, there's so many unanswered questions, so much so that it almost becomes a part of your theology that there are some things I'll just never know, and it's not small stuff; it's significant questions.
Right.
Just
Okay,
believe in Jesus and you good.
Hey, I want to get back to Dr. Ray and Haji. Okay, we got the PhD of Islam and coming to that understanding, and how we got to now even moving forward with changing your name.
Yeah, so the name change is actually really interesting. I have a very different name. So my first name that I was born with is Ray Tanisha. And there's a funny story in my family about how I got that name, because my mom tells one version of the story, and I'm pretty sure it's very different than the version that she tells. My father's name was Raymond, and my mother's name is Toni, Toni. And the way you spell my name is Tonicia, Ray Tanisha. So in my view, she was clearly in love and trying to combine their two names by naming me Ray Tanisha. She says not. She says that she was studying Egyptology at the time, and that she actually named me after the sun god Ra. You can see my obvious issues with this, because my name's not Ra Tanisha, it's Ray, like Raymond. Neither here nor there.
It's so funny.
Yes, I'm gonna let her have her story. But I really grew up, I wasn't really in love with the name. I'm not in love with the spelling of it. I'm not in love with the name itself. My father and I did not have a relationship. And if my mom did name me after the sun god Ra, well, then the name is Haram. But again, I don't believe she did. But I always said, before I became a Muslim, that if I were to change my name to something, it would be Amina. I had no idea that it was a name that was connected to Islam at all. I just liked the name, and
like, how long ago was this? Like, did you hear the name Amina somewhere? Or?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, it's a relatively popular name in the Black community. Latifah,
Queen Latifah. Latifah,
Latifah, but even Aisha, like Black folks, I think that we have
Yeah, Aisha.
of
Yeah.
our mind,
Aisha.
right? I think we have a memory of our Muslim ancestors, and we're drawn to these names, the Fatimas,
Yes.
Amina, and so these are names that I grew up hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always said, like, yeah, if I were to change my name to something, I would like my name to be Amina. Well,
Okay, so now if they calling you for Hajj, it ain't gonna be Dr. Ray. No, you call me Amina, right? That's gonna be the legal name. So some people go up for Hajj, and you've been knowing that brother is Bilal, and his name is
His
Tyrone
name Tony.
Jenkins.
Hey,
You know,
Tony.
they
Where
call
did
it,
Tony come from?
Tyrone Jenkins. Everybody like, who is
See, because
Tyrone?
when I went, they called me
Oh,
Rufus now, and they called me Rufus then.
Yeah, right. It's like, who's Tyrone? That's brother Bilal. Yeah, it's like,
that's funny. Yeah. So when I became a Muslim and I realized that the Prophet, peace be upon him, that his mother's name was Amina or Amina, however you say it.
right. You
oh
got 50-50 with them Muslim names, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I had another encounter. I was in the Atlanta airport. I was traveling with my daughter for a volleyball tournament, and
We had just become
Muslims, and it was actually Easter Sunday. And
yeah.
I was honestly sad. Like, my heart was a little sad because it was the first Easter of my life that I was not at home, after Easter service with my church hat and, Easter ham, eggs, and
Oh goodness.
Just the whole thing. And I was feeling, I think, a little, maybe a tad bit lost and kind of questioning, like, gosh, did I make the right decision? There's this community that I've been a part of my whole life, and traditions, and it's the first time I'm not a part of those traditions. And so I'm walking through the airport. I decide to buy a pair of sunglasses, and the man who's working at the kiosk, actually he wasn't, there was a woman at the kiosk. She couldn't get the security thing off of my glasses, so she goes across to the Brookstone store and calls a man over to do it. And he sees me in hijab, and he says, "Are you a Muslim?" And I said, "Yes." And so he very playfully starts asking me questions like, how many surahs are in the Quran? And I was like, wait a minute,
What?
I've been a Muslim. Yeah, he was being funny. And I was like, I've been a Muslim for a week. I have no idea, how many. And so he's working on the glasses, and he's teaching me about the surahs. And he says, do you have a Muslim name yet? And I said, no, I don't. And he looked at me and he said, you know what I think your name should be? And I said, what? And he said, Amina.
Girl,
and
stop
yes.
Wow.
She called me right away when
I
it happened, and it was.
I called him immediately because here I was, sad on Easter Sunday, questioning whether or not I had made the right decision. And I have this chance encounter with this Muslim man at a station who confirms to me the name that had been in my spirit for years already. So for me,
that was his mother's name.
That was his mother's name, yes. And of all the names he could have said, he said that one. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to change my name.
Allah said that when he guides someone, no one can misguide them.
Yeah.
You're actually showing, giving the audience something to say, to harp on that. Look, when Allah guides you, and even though you have that doubt, he reassures you.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, we have to look at the signs. Allah be like, I done sent you all these signs.
Yeah,
y'all the ones ain't paying attention.
That had to make your heart warm. Okay. All right. We're going to have to get past this warm moment because we got stuff to talk about. All right. You have been a part of a lot of controversy, Shaun. Just a lot more than the average person. What I feel. So much so that, Ray had to step in because, if anything, they'd have you under the jail.
Well, let me be there with you, bro. I got you.
Right.
I know you.
Sometimes I had to step in, and this was for the brother before the brother was even Muslim. I'm like, my gosh,
y'all have known me for a very long time. I even saw. I don't even know when we first started interacting. Like, it's been more than 10 years. I think
you started following us. I saw you had reshared a post I did on the 2016 Olympics. So it's been a minute.
Hey man, I can't mess with her brain on no. I don't answer no questions when she say when something happened. I be like, okay.
It's been a minute, and then I told him, I said, "Did you know that Shaun King follows us?"
I was like, nope.
And then I saw you had started pinning some of our comments, and I would talk to certain people, like, how did you start? Like, who are you? How'd you follow us? I said, oh, I saw you on Shaun King's post. You know, that kind of thing. You know, people that was coming around us and stuff like that, which we appreciate. Definitely, you doing that. It sucks that you got kicked off a minute, but anywho, so yeah, so much so that Dr. Ray has had to step in. I didn't step in.
Oh, I can see Dr. Ray stepping in.
Only from
Matter of
from
fact,
different things.
You probably don't even need me, partner.
And I feel, oh yeah, she shut it down. But I feel that a lot of people like bandwagon, when they hop on, such things like that. But it shows the strength of your marriage. It shows, a lot of the support that you have. So now how? Because the controversies don't stop. People just find something else to talk about. So they done rolled over from this. Now they done rolled over about you being Muslim, right? They didn't, the controversies do not stop. So how do you defend those? How do you approach those differently now?
Well, a few things. I don't think of myself as being controversial. I know I'm involved in a lot of moments that are controversial, but the worst things that people say about me aren't actually true. And if people judge me based on the actual things that I say or the actual things that I do, I don't know that the conclusion would be that I'm controversial. Like, even
I think it could still be the conclusion.
But the things that
people Ray looking like you ain't controversial, bruh. Come on.
No, I understand. No, I'm always willing to say a controversial thing, but that tends not to be what people are talking about. People are mainly talking about two things. They are saying that I'm stealing people's money and that I mistreat people. And the thing is, those are two things that when you deny them, who wouldn't deny those things? When you deny them, it doesn't make them go away. I just want to say to you and anybody that's listening, there's no actual person that is saying I mistreated them. There's no one saying that. There are people saying, I heard he mistreated somebody.
Right.
I don't mistreat people. You won't find a person.
Well, I will say, even if somebody does say it, mistreat is such a subjective word, right? Like there was one time when someone forwarded me a post where someone who, had worked for one of his organizations was saying all manner of things that just were not true. And I knew it intimately and personally, was involved with this person. And here's the thing, as his wife, I will tell him when he's wrong, when I think he's wrong. When I think he needs to change something or whatever. What this person was talking about was not founded in truth. And so if you didn't like that you said something and he said something back, or that he handled a situation a particular way, that doesn't equal mistreatment. And so I hate words like that because it's really just so incredibly subjective.
Misleading. Gotcha.
Right.
Hey, brother, but let me throw this in before y'all go, because may Allah, and I always make du'as for people, especially people out here doing the work. May Allah clear your name of any of that crap, because Allah, the amazement, I'm living proof of the amazement of Allah. Matter of fact, I be saying, man, please don't give me nothing else. People be asking, give me this, give me money. I be like, don't give me nothing else. I can't deal with all this stuff. But may he clear your name, my brother, from any of that. And inshallah, little by little, you may see that happen. But we got to keep making dua and asking him to do those things.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me ask, what has been the biggest change or difference that you've seen in your marriage since converting to Islam?
Real quick, Sister Jenny, I wanted to give you a little pivot that I've made since becoming a Muslim. When I now hear things, I heard this beautiful. It's beautiful and painful. I heard this hadith. It was an authentic hadith about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Abu Bakr was hearing all of these things that were being said about Aisha, and they were in, I believe they were in the masjid, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had really taken the stance that people were going to say the things. The revelation had not been revelation in the Quran about Aisha, and this had not happened yet. Well, Abu Bakr had gotten very upset and was defending his daughter, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, walked out, and Abu Bakr asked him later. I mean, they were as close as brothers, you know. And he said, "Why did you walk out?" And he said, "Before you put your hands on it and were trying to defend Aisha," he said, "there were angels all around us protecting you." And he said, "The moment you started talking, the angels left." And he said, "So I left too." And for me, I take from that, like, there are times where there are these rare times we should defend ourselves. But when people are lying on you and lying on your name or lying about things that could never be proven and will never be proven, sometimes you just have to shut up and let Allah take care of it. Allow the angels to be around you. So I still see every day people say the most foolish things about me. I don't weigh in. I don't want my family to weigh in. I don't want you all to weigh in. We just have to keep moving and keep doing the work. But
I know, Ray, as a wife, that has to hurt. You know what I'm saying? I have a problem when I hear people lie on my husband. You know,
it doesn't. I wouldn't say that it hurts anymore, because it's just so far from the truth that it doesn't hurt me now. You know, if people when people make jokes about him, or they're mean or something like that, yeah, that can be hurtful. But when people are spreading lies, it's mostly frustrating, because it's like, you know, what do they say? A lie can make a trip around the world before the truth even gets its shoes on. It can be really frustrating. But you know, I have the peace of knowing him. When you know somebody since you were 15 years old and we've done life together, there's nothing anybody can tell me about him.
Right. You know? Right. Yeah. Because I mean, 20 some years, that's already more than a Georgia life sentence. Like for real, as far as that's concerned. I don't think people understand that bond and that strength. But I do want to get to the marriage questions. I know you got to go. Please stay with me. Hang on. The biggest difference, the change that you've seen in your marriage since converting.
So I do want to say this. I think that it's important for people to know that when you make such a huge decision like converting to Islam, the devil gets mad, you know, and that is not something that I was prepared for. You're in this honeymoon phase initially. You're excited. You're meeting all these new people. You're learning all this new terminology and ways of living life. And it's very exciting. And then reality sets in. And then I feel like the enemy of our souls comes for every single area of your life, you know, and in one way I would say that it's the enemy, and then in other ways I would say that it's actually Allah. Well, it's always Allah who allows it to happen, but I think as much as it is the devil, you know, coming against you, it's also Allah taking you through a purification.
Well, yeah, you can't say you believe and not be tested.
100%.
Like,
yeah. Hey, for one, y'all already know y'all like little babies right now, because whenever that happens, you ain't committed no sins or whatever, you like a brand new baby.
Yeah.
But I will tell y'all this, when we accept it, they, like you saying, them devils coming, they coming for you.
Yeah.
And if you out here doing this work, they really coming for you.
Yeah. And I'm just going to, unless you have something to add, I'm just going to ask one more question and we can do our speed round.
To add to that is that for us, having that awareness has been helpful, because when we are under attack, it helps us to ground in that. But I think one of the biggest blessings about being Muslims now and being married is that we have an agreed upon standard now. It's the Quran. It's the Prophet, peace be upon him. And that is our agreed upon basis. If I'm tripping or he's tripping, we can go back to that.
Let me say something. We were having a disagreement lately, and anybody who's watching this who are married, that shouldn't shock you, because all married people have disagreements.
Trust me. Somebody was tripping over.
I'm having
in
one right
Turkey.
now with her.
Somebody
Y'all don't
was
see
tripping
it.
in Turkey. Okay?
I'm having one right
No,
now.
Anywho, but
She said something to me that I thought was very beautiful, and it as a man it clicked with me. You know, she said, Shaun, the main thing I'm wanting from you is for you to be a good Muslim.
For him to want to be a good
Yeah,
Muslim.
yeah. You know, now since she said that, you know, she did say, Shaun, okay, can I add number 2 and number 3 to that list?
That's how they do. That's
So,
how they do.
but she did say the primary thing that I want from you is this. Well, that's new for us, even though we've been practicing Christians our whole lives. I was a pastor for many years. To have my wife say that, when I heard that, I thought, oh yeah, I can do that. I want to.
Yeah.
Hey,
and
Theo Khadijah, huh?
and this is what I'm saying is that there really shouldn't be any pushback on that, because what? As a man, you are tasked to lead. So in order to lead, you got to learn Islam, and your character has to be good as a Muslim.
It does.
So
indeed,
she got it.
Man, my
She
children
got
grew
it.
up. I didn't know my children was going to accept Islam just because me and my wife did. I didn't know how that was going to work. But the example that I gave them, they said they chose Islam. Like all my children chose Islam. So I mean,
All right. One more question and we'll get to speed round. I'll let you go. I let you go. I don't want to let you go, but I have to let you go. Okay.
I mean, we could do part 2 as well. Yeah, if you're up for it.
Oh, thank you, my brother.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure there have been all kind of people that are coming at you guys about all kind of things, including us with this interview. But this interview has been a long time coming. Just to let y'all know, you know, we've been in contact for a minute. So this interview has been a long time coming. Okay. Anywho. All right. It's about all kinds of things, right? So how do you discern now? Like, and let me just give you some examples. People coming to you for marriage advice. Okay. People
25 years, they should be coming it in.
The Muslim fundraisers, you know, coming to speak every which way but loose. You know, Judge Mathis got in trouble with that, right? Okay. And
what in the Judge Mathis going on?
And
tell me about that later. I got to hear about that later.
Now, he up to speed. Okay. But and then Kabaz, you've been Muslim all 3 days. You know, but you're prominent in different things like that. And people want people to come out and hear the word or whatever, so they can feel that they can pull you for a khutbah when you've been a Muslim all the 3 days. So,
Shaun giving khutbah?
No. I'm saying about people asking all kinds of different things of you. Like, how do you discern that?
Yeah, I think for Ray and I, it may be slightly different, but you know, I have a group of imams and scholars that are available to Ray and I both, but that are my friends. And one of the first things that Sheikh Omar Suleiman asked me was, he knew that I was a pastor and a preacher, and he said, Shaun, he said, I know your inclination, your wiring is going to be to begin preaching. And he said, I asked you at least not even speak from the Quran for the first year, maybe the first 2 or 3 years. He said, I want you to learn it. I want you to focus on becoming a Muslim. You can learn hadiths. And he and others have kind of given me permission to share from a few hadiths here and there, but they've asked me to really just focus my life and energy on learning. And so, for instance, when I get up and speak, I'm traveling I'll be speaking in a few masjids and conferences this weekend. One of the first things I tell people is I've been a Muslim for 8 months. And I tell them, if I say anything that contradicts your imam or the good scholars that you count on, believe them first and forgive me. And I tell them, any mistake I make Islamically, blame me, not my imams or anybody else. Mm-hmm. And so I'm very careful. I try very hard to stay in my lane and in my expertise. So right now, when I travel and speak, I'm speaking a lot from my experience. I'm sharing my story, and there may be some hadiths that I can share here and there, but I'm even very careful about that. That's just me trying to have kind of the right temperament and understanding in these early days of being a Muslim, for sure.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Dr. Ray? Because you, like I said, I had started following you because I saw some stuff that you were talking about in regards to women and microaggressions in your work, with women and different things like that. So I'm pretty sure people come to you now. Mind you, in the Muslim world, scholar is very appreciated. So you have, your doctoral, so that's very highly respected, like in the Muslim world. So how do you discern? When you are asked to do certain things?
So honestly, I feel very blessed because I really don't get asked to do a lot of things.
They don't know about you good yet. Yeah.
Well, it's not really my lane. I'm a teacher and I'm not a public speaker in that way. I'm much more comfortable with the PowerPoint presentation and, a lesson plan. Like that's my lane. And one of the reasons I didn't initially plan on publicly talking about being a Muslim, our Shahada went viral, and I wasn't anticipating that, in part because I didn't want that pressure of anybody asking me things that I knew I wasn't qualified for and that I wasn't ready to speak about. And so even now when I am asked to speak and the couple of places that I have been, I talk about my conversion story because that's what I know.
Hey, I'm right there. Yeah, this is where I go. Yeah, I got you. Understood. Okay. All right, let's do our speed round and we'll get into our card game. You guys can answer these together. Okay. Speed round. First one. Ferris wheel or merry-go-round?
Ferris wheel.
Yeah, I'll say Ferris wheel.
Okay. Silver or gold?
Gold.
Silver.
Okay. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Oh yeah, pancakes.
Monopoly or taboo?
I'll say Monopoly.
Monopoly, yeah.
Okay.
We've been together so long, it's going to be rare we don't have the same answer.
Okay.
We just opposites up in here.
Rio or Bali?
Huh?
Rio de Janeiro. Yeah, Rio or Bali?
Rio, I think, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Rio? Okay. All right. That's the speed round. So we're going to take one question from our card game. If you guys don't know, we have a couples card game. Surviving, it's hard to see with that light. You need to fix that lighting. Surviving Marriage in the 21st Century. It matches our book. It's over here somewhere.
What's the name of the card game?
Yeah, it matches our book. And it's 3 categories. For better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health.
You're going to hold that thing up,
so,
knowing that light is what it is.
Look, they may be able to see it better over there.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Jenny, stop showing it. We can't see it. We can't see it.
Thank you. Okay, anywho, so I'm gonna pick I'm just gonna pick a random card and ask the question. If you guys don't know, this is 99 questions for one great conversation. And we created this game just because a lot of couples come to us and their communication is
they don't know how to talk.
They don't know how to talk to one another.
Ask some questions, you really get to talking.
Yeah. So a lot of people use it for a lot of reasons. Okay, this is from In Sickness and in Health. How do you stay healthy? Oh, and y'all know this. When your mate has the cooties, cold or flu?
Here's what I'll say. We tend not to worry about staying healthy. If one of us is sick, I will say this is a little known fact about Mr. Shaun King. He is an excellent nurse. He takes really, really good care of anybody in the house who is sick. And I think it's, he's had a lifetime of kind of health issues and pain and surgeries and things. And so it makes him very empathetic to anybody who isn't feeling well. I mean, he's so good.
The bedside manner, over pampering.
Yes, there's nothing he won't do. He'll buy the whole drugstore out, yeah, he's great.
Oh, some people be coming in hot. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Get up. What?
Go clean that kitchen.
Yeah.
So you don't. So if he's sick, you don't worry about getting sick. So because it's probably gonna happen anyway.
Okay, it does. I'm the opposite. I'm not a very good caretaker at all. I'm ashamed to say. And so he will quarantine himself if he's sick and just kind of take care of himself. I'll make a chicken noodle soup. That's pretty much my contribution if he's not feeling well.
Yeah. When I'm sick, Instacart is my best friend.
Oh,
And
see,
when
now
she's sick, I'm her best friend. So
this is a twist on gender roles and gender norms.
Yeah.
Which is actually
but
pretty
it
cool.
works for y'all.
Yeah.
Again, people, when we were doing this and wrote this book, everybody kept saying, what works for you? Look, partner, you ain't got my wife. So if you try to do what I'm doing with her, you might be in trouble.
Exactly. That is so cool. All right. Well, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us and staying a little bit later than what you were supposed to. We appreciate that.
I told you, Shaun.
So let people.
If it was me running this bad boy, you'd be gone, partner.
He will cut you off.
I gotta go.
No, it was fun. Thank you all.
He will cut you off in mid sentence.
See ya.
But tell people how they can get in touch with you guys.
Well, I'm still on Instagram. I don't use it a lot. I actually just deleted it this week because it was just so much of a distraction. But I am still at MRSRAIKING on Instagram. I also have an email address in my bio that someone checks for me for different inquiries.
I'm not spending a whole lot of time online, but I'm still on most platforms. And if you just search my name, I'm on there.
Facebook, YouTube, Telegram.
I'm going to be, we're going to get a chance to go for Umrah soon. And I'm going to try to film some stuff for YouTube and just to show people back home kind of our first Umrah. And, so I'm on YouTube, but I'm spending less and less of my time on social media as well. And
wonderful, wonderful. We went in March and for our first time, and we went to Mecca.
Y'all about to have a history lesson.
Mecca and Medina, and my, that was awesome. I don't know if you guys are going with a group or by yourselves. We actually did it by ourselves. We wanted our first time to be just something that we could take.
I wanted to go everywhere the Sahaba was.
Right, and not just take in, you know what I'm saying, have our moments. I was very emotional at Kaaba and different things, and I don't want somebody saying, okay, we got to load up the bus, we got to go,
She wanted that emotional support that Shaun be giving.
I just wanted to just be immersed in it, and everything. So alhamdulillah, we'll be following that journey, and inshallah we'll look to have you back. Let's see, we're at the end of the year. Sometime 2025, we'll be following your travels and following everything. Y'all heard her right. Her pronouns is MRS, and I ain't mad with that. So inshallah. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right, guys. That was our interview with Shaun King and Dr. Ray. So now we're going to get into the first part of the show and it's going to be at the end of the show. Okay. So we'll be right back with your food for thought. Food for thought. Food for thought. Ooh. Some days some days you excel, and other days you merely survive. This is real talk. Like real talk, okay?
I'm surviving every day.
When we got off that plane from coming back home from our Turkey and Egypt, and any international flight, like when you're traveling, because I know we do a lot of traveling, right?
At least the food be good.
We were surviving on fumes. And when I tell you it was fumes, jet lag ain't
that 12-hour delay.
No, jet lag ain't no freaking joke.
My body felt like more like 24-hour delay.
Okay. But after the rest and recovery, it's like you get like a boost, and you just excel. You start excelling in everything.
I'm still waiting on my boost.
Unpacking and washing clothes and cleaning the kitchen and the bathroom and the things to do list. Just going down the things to do.
Sounds like too much work when you're getting off a plane.
Going down the things to do list. Things start to get done. And it's almost like a breath of new life is breathed into you. Oh, I thought you had something.
I ain't had nothing to say. I told you I'm still recovering.
So just remember the balance. Like some days will be better than others. Okay.
So without that, you talking about after a flight like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Better than another.
Hey, one day you get up feeling real good. Next, they'll be like, "What the world just happened?"
Okay. All right. about support. Okay, that's it for the food for thought for today. So about support. If you guys would like to support us, which we love, people supporting us, please go to
depends.
our shop. You guys can buy our couples card game. We just played it with our guests, and it's 99 questions for one great conversation. It's single people buy it, marriage people buy it. You play it. We're gonna try to get a new game out before all these tariffs come from y'all great president that y'all about to have, different things like that. Go to survivingmarriagetips.com and you guys can be able to order the card game, get the original pack before getting the next pack. Okay, subscribe, rate and review, wherever you at. Get your podcast, you get the audio. If you're watching us on YouTube, you got the video. Subscribe. Okay, leave a comment, share it with a friend. Follow us on social media at Rufus and Jenny. If you want to follow our travels, follow at Travel with the Triplets, but you can also follow at Surviving Marriage because we put out a lot of great marriage tips. Okay, I think that's all we got.
Well, I'm ready.
That you ready for what? You ready for what? I ain't said nothing yet.
You ain't got to say it.
Okay.
It's the end of the show.
All right.
It's time to go.
We thank our guests, Shaun and Dr. Ray. We hope you guys are enjoyed the show.
Man. I hope y'all, I wish y'all all the success. And all I'm saying is beware. Watch out, partner. You're about to be tested. If you think you was tested before, here comes some more. See how that rhyme?
You ready to ride? Then?
I just rhymed.
You ready to ride?
Ride wherever we going.
Remember, marriage is a marathon, not a sprint. We are surviving it, and so can you.
And we are Rufus and Jenny. Until the next episode, y'all be good. We'll be men and wives.